Good evening, everybody. Okay. Hello, everybody. I think we're just waiting for Neil, right? Yeah. Just give him a few moments. Let me check in with him. Okay. Neil mentioned he's trying to join.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, good. Okay. I know there was background noise a little bit earlier when we were in closed session. Are you guys able to hear me clearly?
Yeah, I don't know why you had the blender on, but yeah, that's all right now.
I was going to say,
My
we
office.
can hear you. There is a little bit of a buzzing.
Okay, I'm sorry for that. I'm not sure exactly where that's coming from. Okay, so we're gonna reconvene back to open session. We did vote on an action, so we voted in 4-0 to approve resolution number 21.02.02, and it was a 4-0 vote, and Alba wasn't present, so there was no vote from her. Okay, so moving on to the approval of the agenda.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I think you do need to read part of the resolution, or all of the resolution, and the employee ID numbers.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. Okay.
Welcome.
It says, before the governing board of the Santa Rita Union School District, Monterey County, California, resolution number 21.02.02 in the matter of the temporary or probationary employee, whereas Educational Code section 44954 authorizes notice to any temporary employee of the board's decision to release the employee for the next succeeding school year, if such notice is provided before the end of the year. Whereas Education Code Section 4, is somebody's mic on? 44929.21 authorizes notice to any probationary employee whose probationary period commenced during or after the 1983 to 1984 fiscal year of the board's decision whether to re-elect the employee for the next succeeding school year to such a position at any time on or before March 15 of the employee's second complete consecutive school year of the employment by the district. Whereas the board believes it is in the best interest of the district to not re-elect the employees listed on the attachment A pursuant to Education Code Section 44954 or 44929.21. Therefore, be it resolved that the board hereby directs the superintendent to send notice of release non-re-election to the employees listed in attachment A whose services should be terminated by virtue of this action. Nothing herein shall be deemed to confer any status of rights upon the employee or employees beyond those specifically granted by the statute. Passed and adopted the 24th day of February 2021 at the meeting of the governing board by the following vote: 4 yeas and 0 noes. So this is, okay, let's see. So the superintendent recommends the release of non-election of the following employees, which is an attachment A. Employee ID 160423, employee ID number 160421, employee ID 160432, employee ID 160394, employee ID 160440, employee ID 160512, and employee ID 160520. And then the final statement, it says, it's got to be the clerk. Yeah. Okay, I, Diego Jacob Sandoval, clerk of the governing board of the Santa Rita Union School District, hereby certify that the foregoing resolution was duly introduced, passed, and adopted by the governing board at a meeting therefore held on the 24th day of February 2021 by a vote of 4-0. And witness thereof, I hereto set my hand this 24th day of February 2021. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Please take a breath, Diego. I mean, that was long-winded there, brother. You know, you deserve a break. You know, I'm just letting you know right now.
Okay. Next, we have approval of the consent agenda. Is there any questions on that?
I'd just like to make a comment before we approve. One of the items is to approve the resignation of 3 teachers in our district, and 2 of the names jumped off. Actually, one person, I didn't know her first name, Janie Alvarado Sandoval. No relation, but she was my first grade teacher. I think I was her third class, and Mr. Mark Rebello, who was a science teacher for many years. I remember him doing a science project where we dissected squid and then later cooked it along with Mr. Trapani's class. And so he has then this last year or the previous year been my daughter's science teacher. And these 2 educators, I mean, they're, if we can make them stay, that would be great. They're just passionate, dedicated educators. And I look forward to, in our future meeting, a resolution acknowledging them for their dedication and hard work to the countless students of the Santa Rita School District. Miss Sandoval, like I said, no relation. This is going to be her 35th year in education, and that's commendable. And I had the opportunity to run into her at one of the community events that Mr. Ryan helped organize at Santa Rita School. And Mr. Rebello, this is his 31st year with the Santa Rita School District. So like I said, and there's another teacher, this will be her 7th year at New Republic. And I just want to recognize them and thank them for their dedication to our students. And like I said, I look forward to a resolution and an invitation to bring them to our board meeting to recognize them for their work. And I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
prior to that motion, I would just like to discuss an item. And I absolutely agree with Andrew Sandoval. I think this district really needs to recognize our great staff, especially the ones who have served a major part of their life and dedicated to our district, such as Rebello, Elisa Lapella, Janie Alvarado. I think we need to have a much more of a formal process in acknowledging their contributions. So I totally support Sandoval and his idea of making a more formal process and an event, if you will, where we honor those who have dedicated their lives, to our district. So having said that, I would like a second.
Okay, we have a second. I also have one comment. I know in the request put in by Chuck, did we have to check any of those boxes? I know for the equipment that's being obsolete. Looks like there was 3 boxes, but I wasn't sure if we needed to do it or not.
Are you talking about where you find the value to be either insufficient or no more than 2,500 or above 2,500?
Correct. Yeah. Did we have to check one of those, or is that you kind of just was check it out? I wasn't sure as part of the approval we had to do that or not. Just to clarify.
Honestly, it's been a while since I've done one of these, but if you did check one, it would be that middle one. We will surplus them through gov deals and get something back for them. Not much, as you can see by their approximate value, but somebody will pick them up.
I believe those indicate the options that we have available for obsolescence of items.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like we might need to pull it and vote on that. Is that correct?
Just amend your motion and I would say just to choose option, the middle option.
The middle option, because that is the one that we're going to use, but it's more of a definition of ways that you can do the obsolescence of items. But we can certainly demarcate the one that we intend to use. Those are the options that are available to us, though. So we can leave it as is and just know that we can do one of those 3 things when we obsolesce materials. So there's not really a need to check a box, but just for the board's knowledge, we're doing option 2.
Okay, sounds good. And we'll just continue with the motion. So there was a second by Mr. Patel. And then just based on the conversation with Lou in closed session, boards do require a roll call vote now. So if Melissa, you could do the roll call.
Mr. Diego Sandoval.
Yes.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval.
Yes.
Mr. Neil Patel.
Yes.
Ms. Sarah Turner.
Yes.
Vote passes 4-0.
All right, thank you. So moving on to 3.0 reports, information, and correspondence. Start off with SRTA. I think I saw something come through, Nicole.
Yeah, I have their comment.
Okay.
So, good evening, board trustees. First, I'd like to express Ms. Ariano continues to be in our thoughts and prayers as she heals and grows stronger. Our members have expressed their appreciation of our district prioritizing the health of not just our students, but our staff as well. As the vaccinations become available to those working with children. As always, the positive working relationship our union has with the district office is very much appreciated. As discussion regarding working as a team to create a reopening plan for what learning may look like for our students, as well as ensuring proper safety is in place for all. It's regrettable that the federal government has decided to move forward with mandatory testing, but as educators, we are finding a way to support students and families as we navigate through this new territory again. Finally, we are happy that you are able to view all the hard work SRTA and the district has put into the tentative agreement for our CBA. May you have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Kate Stover, SRTA President.
Okay, thank you, SRTA, and we definitely do appreciate the great work environment in the district and yourselves as well. So moving on to 3.2, is there anybody from CS? Okay.
There's nobody from CSEA.
Okay. So there's no principal spotlight, and so we go to Superintendent's Cabinet and Institutional Services.
Hi, good evening. So the major thing that we've been working on here is trying to finalize our 1920 school year 1920 grant, equipment grant. And I just got notification from the CD that they received all of our documentation today. There was one thing that I had to include that I missed. Sent that out, so they have everything, and we should hear it's finalized shortly. And with that said, yesterday, prior to last year's being finalized, I went ahead and submitted our grant for this school year, 2021. Chances aren't huge that we'll get awarded any funds, but it doesn't hurt to try. It's by site, not by school district. So I applied for Gavilan View and then 2 of our other sites. With the Gavilan View site, we're looking to hopefully cut approximately $100,000 from the kitchen project. So that would be nice. And then the other thing is today we sent out most of the diapers that were donated by the food bank. Our central kitchen is stocked with pallets of diapers. So we're trying to get them out of there to make some room. And one more school to go, and then they'll all be out. So hopefully they'll go to some families that definitely need them. And we got roughly 400 cases that we went out. So that's it for our department.
I had a question. Did the route get changed for the food? I noticed that they went through the church, or is that a different food delivery they were doing there?
Every 2 weeks at the church next to MOT, on Wednesday, every other Wednesday, they also serve, the food bank does. So that's what's hindering us moving it to the church, because they already do it twice a month.
And how about the other church that's next to Bolsa Knolls, as far as using their parking lot to kind of divert a little traffic there? Is that an option?
It would be an option. I don't know if that would alleviate the traffic, because it would just push it further down towards Natividad and Rancho San Juan. And we may even get people from the other side, more of the San Juan grade road, coming both directions.
Okay, thank you. Does the rest of the board have any questions or comments?
You know, Chuck, today, once again, you know, I'm just amazed by the demand for food in our area. You know, today at 1 o'clock, I went down El Dorado, all the way down El Dorado, all the way down Arcadia, around New Republic, you know, and I recorded a video, I think about 3 months ago or 4 months ago. And here it is, you know, we're in February, and the line's longer, you know, and so I don't know how else to express my gratefulness for our district to partner with various partners, food bank and National Guard. But I'm glad that as a school district, you know, we're providing a necessity of life during a very major traumatic time. So once again, I just want to thank you and the entire food staff for what they're doing to help feed our community, you know, and what else can I say? I will acknowledge it each and every time. Thank you.
Just one quick comment. Whatever we can do to make sure we maintain that site, or, you know, we don't want to lose that distribution site. You know, as my wife was mentioning the other day, she drove by Santa Rita and they were closing down, and there was a lot of cars who were left unserved. So, you know, whatever you can do, or whatever, you know, support you need from us to make sure we continue those, I'm sure you'll have. Thank you.
Yeah, in terms of losing Bolsa Knolls or the church next to us, it's the amount of people that we're serving food to outweighs the number of people that are complaining about the line. So we don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
I just want to say thank you for all your hard work, and I really appreciate continually going after grants and doing everything that you can to feed the most people. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Chuck. So moving on to maintenance operations.
Mr. Sandoval is not with us tonight. He had a personal business to handle.
Okay, so next is Chief Business Officer.
Good evening. So what I've been working on is pretty much the second interim report. I met this week and last week with the department directors, with Nadine, Chuck, Victor, and also with Elia for the child development grant. And we're pretty much going over our budgets, making sure that we have everything up to date and that we have the most updated information. As you know, there's a lot of new information coming up due to the COVID-19. There's a lot of reportings. The challenge that I have right now is making sure that I keep track of all the emails that I'm getting on the daily basis, still doing my daily job, and on top of that, doing the report and the additional work that we have to do to report all of those COVID-19 reporting requirements. And I'm sure everyone in here at the district feels the same way with so much going on. So that's pretty much my challenge. But I've been keeping on track of all my emails and getting the most up-to-date information. It's really important, especially right now that I'm on budget development. And because of that, I have good news that I want to share right now, because I have 2 items coming up and I think it's important to know. All these changes are going to be coming up for the second interim, but it's really good news. I want to share with you that based on the January governor proposal budget, they decided to do an ADA waiver. So usually, as you know, the districts get funded on current year or prior year ADA. And as you know, our district was projecting, or is still projecting, decline enrollment. What the state is pretty much doing is saying we're going to give a waiver to the districts for the following year, the 2021, and allow them to get funded on the 1920. So we're going to get funded on this year on 1920 and the following year as well on 1920. That makes such a big difference in our revenue numbers. And not only that, before, when I was doing the July 1st budget projection, we were budgeting with 0% COLA, and the state realized that they were getting more revenue and taxes that they were expecting. So they went ahead and said, instead of budgeting 0% COLA, we're going to go ahead and give you guys a 3.84% on COLA. So with putting all of those numbers together is such a great good news, and it makes such a big difference in our budget, because as you know, on the following year, we were projecting I believe it was a 3.8 deficit. But now with the revenue, we're looking at a 2.6 increase on our $2.6 million increase on our just the LCFA funding. So that's really good. And once I get started to build my budget for the next year, I'm really hoping, and I'm going to try my best to keep my budget balance. It's going to be challenging because a lot of things are changing, and just to be cautious, I know that this is what they're saying now, but anything can change. Remember last year, they told us you're going to get a 3.26 COLA, and during this time, it was 10% reduction. And then even after they signed the budget at the state in July, they said, never mind, it's just 0% COLA. So anything can happen. For right now, it's good news. And another good news is that we got a notification of the ESSER funds too. So we already started the conversation with our directors, and we are in the process of the planning for this COVID-19 funds. And just a reminder, these are restricted funds that need to be used on learning mitigation loss and also related to COVID-19. So they are restricted. We're working on a plan and hoping to bring that to you soon. We got the notification. We haven't received the cash. We hope that by late May, we can get the money and implement and start with the planning, actually. So that's pretty much the good news. As you know, it's February now. The cash deferrals started at this time. So what I'm doing, I'm running a weekly cash flow report for districts just to make sure we're still on plan, because even though that, everything it's planned not to be able to get a loan, anything can change. So I'm just keeping myself updated on a daily basis with the news and make sure that I keep my cash flow running and checking on a weekly basis. So that way my plans can keep us as planned. So that's pretty much the big news. And that's what I have. I'm available for any questions. Thanks.
Does the board have any questions, comments?
I have a couple of comments. First of all, as the CBO, I think I told you a few years ago that I really appreciate conservative estimates. I do not like overestimates or overly optimistic estimates because, if they're wrong, we end up paying for it. So I thank you for being conservative on all your projections. And when we do see additional funds, I'm glad to see it. But at the same time, I would always like to be conservative in terms of your estimation of expenses and revenue. Having said that, regarding the funds from the CARE Act, it's not the CARE Act specifically, but it's for lost learning and for some of the mitigating costs, correct? I think for me at least, we have a major loss of instruction. We're gonna have to play major catch up. And so when you guys are sitting down determining how to spend that money, I hope that's your number one focus is how do we provide time and resources and educational opportunities, not only over the summer, but the following school year as well. What additional support we can provide before, after school, Saturdays, whatever it is, especially our EL learners, and our special ed students, special needs students. So, I hope you take those into consideration. Obviously, whatever you come up with, we'll evaluate at that time, but I'm just giving you a little perspective. But thank you, Rosa. I mean, the ability of a board to make a decision is only as good as the numbers and information we're provided. So thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add my thanks. I know that dealing with the state finances is crazy, and it's beyond crazy at this point in terms of everything that's happened with COVID. So thank you for your continuing dedication.
Andrew, any questions or comments?
No, just keep up the great work. I know it seems that's all I can say is, and thank you for all your hard work.
Okay, all right, thank you, Rosa. So moving on to student services.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. And CBO Zamudio just stole half my report, so I will only have one other item to talk about this evening. I just wanted to let the board know that we are working with our high school district that we feed into to start to begin to organize and facilitate transition meetings for our eighth graders, eighth grade students with disabilities, so that they have a nice, smooth transition into their high school years with the district. And I really enjoy working with the director of that district. She's top notch and really knows her programming and has a really strong staff. So for the majority, we'll be working with Rancho San Juan team because that is now the high school that we feed into. So we will be working on those meetings and helping families understand that process. And the high school district joins us in those meetings as well to answer any questions or concerns that families may have as their students move into high school. And as I said, Ms. Zamudio gave the budget report for me. I was going to update on what a great meeting we had. And I think our department scored very well. We're staying within our boundaries that were given to us. So we're happy with that. If anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to take those.
Any questions from the board or comments? Okay, great job. Thank you. Okay, moving on to human resource.
Thank you. Teacher recruitment season has begun. So we attended the CSUMB virtual job fair a couple of weeks ago, February 11th. And I was nervous with it being virtual, not sure how that was going to work. But we had a really successful experience. 4 principals attended along with Ms. Alderman and our HR team. And we are working on hiring 2 of the candidates that we spoke with at that fair for next year, and still in communication with a couple more. So that was a success. And in March, we will attend 2 more recruitment fairs, one with National University and one with MCOE. Other than that, our HR team is attending a virtual conference this week on credentials. It's hosted by the Credential Counselors and Analysts of California. So that was today, and it will continue through the rest of this week with sessions that are related to how to process various credential types and the impact of COVID with some of the exceptions that are being made. So that's all I have for this week. Thank you.
Any questions or comments from the board?
God bless you and Godspeed. Keep us fully staffed.
Okay, thank you, Becky. Moving on to educational services.
Well, my biggest news is that I want to thank Alberto Ramirez, our Gavilan View middle school principal or middle school vice principal. He hosted probably the largest DLAC this district has ever had. Online last night, we had a steady stream of participants at around 52. And so I took up some meeting space really to do our first inroad into our LCAP presentation in an attempt to advertise and gather members for our Parent Action Committee that Donna Koenig, Gavilan View Middle School principal, is assisting me with running for this spring and really making that a functioning committee for our district, who will help provide some oversight and guidance for our 4-year action plan with our LCAP, our new LCAP for 21 to 2024. So it was pretty exciting to have that many people online for the DLAC. And I don't know how Mr. Ramirez has that much energy at 6 p.m. God bless him, he did. But it was a really fun and engaging DLAC. And so I'm looking forward to continuing to engage our community as we move forward with our new LCAP.
Yeah, I think I got a chance to listen into part of it, and he does have a lot of energy. So that's exciting to see him kind of in what you guys are going to do in the future years. So I appreciate that. And thank you for doing that, Melissa. Any questions or comments from the board?
Melissa, I just want to commend you on growing our outreach to our various different population bases, and please continue to develop it, be inclusive, make sure that our non-native English speakers are being represented well and are provided the availability to give input and support, and so I strongly encourage you to continue what you're doing. I would love to see us be one of the most inclusive school districts in the city, if not the county, so please keep that as a focus. I really appreciate that. And I'm glad to hear we had record numbers, and let's hope those numbers keep growing. Thank you.
Yeah, so great job. Yesterday was exciting. Mr. Ramirez did promise some things when we reopened, like food trucks and bands and music. So I look forward to that. It's great. I love his energy. I love his. Go ahead, Mr. Patel.
Did you say taco truck? I didn't get that memo.
Yeah, well, you should join us at the next DLAC meeting. It was a great meeting. One of my main reasons for wanting to be part of the school board was to increase parent participation. So seeing like 40, 50 people, those are things that get me really excited. And I love community input and engagement. And Ms. Alderman, you did a fantastic job. And it was not only informative, but entertaining. So I think that's why people stayed on till the end. And, I hope we continue to have that type of participation. And I like what you said about making sure those groups will be in place and it will actually make an impact on decisions in the district. So thank you very much. And that was a great start.
Mr. Sandoval, I'm okay with approving, quarterly taco trucks at each site. I'm just letting you know.
We'll keep it in mind.
Yeah, I'm sorry, just off topic. You left a little early, and I know we already had nutrition services, but we did agree collectively at the end of the year that you will be barbecuing chicken for the district staff. So I want to stay on topic, but you did leave early, and I think Chuck.
You're going to let me close to a barbecue again? Did you call the fire department? Did they approve it?
Okay, let's get back on track a bit. Sarah, any comments before we go on to the next item? No? Okay. All right. Thank you, Melissa. Moving on to board and superintendent, we'll start off with board reports. Mr. Patel.
Once again, it's just observation and contact with parents and teachers, but I feel for the teachers. I'm getting a lot of comments about, some of them being, a little bit hesitant of coming back, and I understand those concerns as a fellow teacher. So all I can say is that, I'm sure our district will always do what is the safest and most practical, in order to protect everybody, and we will follow all CDC guidelines and directives from Monterey County Department of Health. The safety of our staff and our students is never in question, never in question. Having said that, I do have a number of parents who have called me and they're concerned about hearing about we're going back to school, who's going back, when we're going back, what it's going to be. So what I would ask from administration is to be proactive and provide that information as much as possible. I know we're still developing it, but I think as more forthcoming we can be and create that communication link as soon as possible, and therefore parents will feel a little bit more at ease, And also, I think I mentioned earlier, our district is spending a lot of money on protecting our students and staff, with all the various equipment and protective procedures, temperature check, etc. I would love to see maybe a video that we could record and send out to the community to give them the sense of safety and the sense of precautions that we are taking to help alleviate any reservation that our community might have in sending the students back. And I think the more we do it upfront and openly, the better. And so that's the only suggestion I have. I'm just getting that little sense of attention from staff, and I think staff is coming along. But I think with the community and parents, they need that reassurance, So that something like a video, presenting more information. Here's what we've done. Here's how we're going to do it, And so I think anything we can do to alleviate any stress that parents might have or our community in bringing students back would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Andrew Sandoval.
I just I had that opportunity to attend the DLAC meeting and just look forward to as we move forward with the plans of opening, that we have those town hall meetings and we make sure we're doing that equitable, and one in English and one in Spanish, and just look forward to including everyone in these discussions.
Okay, thank you. Sarah?
So Mr. Andrew Sandoval and I attended the facilities meeting last week. So you got to hang out with me. It was so exciting. And I really did appreciate all the hard work that's been done on the Galvin View Kitchen project. And I'm excited with the idea that it's going to be able to go forward, because that's just been a goal for quite some time now. And so I appreciated all the hard work that was put on there, and I look forward to the update when we meet again in March. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. As far as myself, I did attend Understanding Safe School Guidance by Lozano Smith. It was kind of a workshop, kind of seeing what different parts of the states are doing. And from what I could tell, things are kind of all over the place. Some districts have opened and they close back down again because there's infections and stuff. So they just said, take a lot of caution in whatever direction you go with it. March 3rd, and I asked Amy, I think she emailed everybody as well. There's a Monterey County is putting out a workshop on the redistricting process. And then also CSBA is also doing a workshop on March 8th as well. Currently we are an at-large district, but thankfully our district, led by Mr. Patel, approved for us to go to district election soon. The census data is being delayed because obviously because of COVID and stuff. I also was able to attend, was it yesterday? Kind of off of my days that we did the, Melissa, was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Victor had, he had us do a walkthrough of the Parent Resource Center, the Family Resource Center, I'm sorry. So I'm really excited about that. I was able to kind of walk through it and see the new portables and stuff and all the possibilities and stuff. So thank you, Melissa. I know that was kind of your pet project 2 years ago and stuff, which is a direction that I'm happy the district is going and making sure that kind of takes place. And that's it for myself. And
Mr. Sandoval, just to add on to the resource center. First of all, Melissa, thank you. I know this was a dream and I'm glad it's coming to fruition. My only request is that we, I know Clarissa Purnell, with the LSL Resource Center, they've done a fantastic job, and I believe in best practices, and she's a great resource. So if there's any way we can possibly work with her to help design and the functionality, if you will, and the district's support of it. Obviously, we're not going to be the exact copy of it, but whatever ideas we can get and share and make our resource center even better. And I would really appreciate that. Clarissa Purnell, LSL Resource Center. Thank you.
We partnered with her and she gave us an initial tour when this was still just an idea. And so we'll continue to partner and see. She has a lot of agency connections that she can help us bridge.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I wish I would have known that up front, but thank you very much. I'm glad to hear that.
Okay, and then superintendent's report. Do you want to do those one, Melissa? I'm not sure there's anything to.
I don't know that there's much else to report. It was a really great day. It was actually my first chance to see the Parent Resource Center that Victor's been hard at work on, framing in a bathroom and everything in there. So it was pretty amazing. And then there's room for expansion in the future if we need to do that, and then make sure that teachers have adequate space at Santa Rita if we do that. So it was pretty exciting to see that. And we got to see the new modulars, which I know he's not here, but Mr. Sandoval painted in a scheme that matches what was already there. And I was really surprised to see that. So it's pretty, it looks really nice and very professional out there. And so just give a little kudos to our absent director of MOT.
Okay, great. Thank you, Melissa. So moving on to public comment. Was there anything else that came through, Nicole?
It looks like I have one person for public comment, so I can let them in right now.
Yes, please.
Looks like she's still joining, so I'll give it just another minute or so. Doesn't look like the connection's working for her.
I guess what we can do, just in case she's able to come to the room, if she comes in, just let me know, and then
Yeah, I will.
give her an opportunity to do it as well. Okay. All right. Moving on to 5.1.
Yes, that's my item. You receive a copy of the audit report in your agendas or your agenda items. And this is pretty much what I've been talking about in the last weeks. We work with MCOE to go over the audit findings. As you remember, I went over those during the last board meeting during my report. It's pretty much 3 of them: the ASB, the payroll, and the instructional minutes. We have Alexander from our audit firm, and he's going to go over the audit presentation. I do have a little summary for you to review, and I did give you the corrective action summary in the Friday letter. So I hope that was a lot of information for you to see, but he's also available if you have any questions. Feel free to ask. Alex, are you here?
Good. Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. So this year we gave the district an unmodified clean opinion, but there are again a few findings this year. First one was mainly ASB. It's again every year it's really hard to avoid an ASB find. Like it's pretty common. Like there's no way. It's really hard to get that correct, like 100% correct. And that was mainly just due to one of the student fundraisers that didn't really have kind of a reconciliation item to the deposit. It was off just a little bit, but it was just still it didn't match up. And then another finding was that when we tested payroll, we noticed an employee was given the non-PERS stipend when in fact the person was on PERS as of in 1819. So that was one of them. And then the big finding for the year was one of the things that the state requires is a minimum number of instructional minutes. And one school site, I believe, changed the bell schedule without pretty much the district knowing, and that caused the minimum minutes for that one school site to go down for 4th and 5th grade. So then that was off by 840 minutes, and that had a dollar amount tied to it. But it's one of those ones where, thanks to COVID, I think it's one of those ones where the county and the state will allow you to probably appeal it. At least it'll be more lenient. They'll be more lenient this year in terms of appealing it, because you didn't have the opportunity to make those minutes up. So that's it makes sense that way. And then we had to do one big adjustment too. Well, not really a big adjustment, but we noticed one of the receivables got double booked at the year-end close. So if you look at, there's a reconciliation in the back that reconciles the unaudited to the audited numbers, and it was about we pretty much caught a $109,000 double booking of a receivable, and I think that's pretty much it. A crazy year, but Rosa and her staff made it work, and it really felt like it really wasn't really much of a difference between a normal audit year and this year. And well, I guess the craziness will be next year, but then that's for another story. But do you guys have any questions for me regarding the audit?
I always like to talk, but the instructional, most of the things that were pointed out, I've seen over and over again. ASB, students, money, parents. I mean, come on, that's going to be a difficult one. So yeah. I can give latitude to that one. Yeah. But the one I'm not willing to give latitude on is instructional minutes.
Yeah.
That really got to me. And the reason it got to me was that is something that processes in place should have taken care of, if there were. And the idea that any site can arbitrarily adjust a schedule without, at the most basic of checking instructional minutes, is very concerning to me. That is the lifeblood of any public school. And, I've been on MEGI committees where we change schedules, bell schedules, and we've always, our number one concern was making sure we met instructional minutes as required by the state. And with extra time in there for leeway as well. And in this case, the leeway, was not there. And then on top of it, we went negative. So I would like for us to have a process in place where the authority is only vested in the district after it has been properly vetted, especially when it comes to instructional minutes, and then and only then can the approval be granted. So it's not that big of a deal considering the situation we're in, but I just want to make sure that for the future, we have a process in place that prevents this from happening again. Having said that, I think the report itself is not very major. I think the items are correctable, and I think they're understandable given the situation. That's it. So overall, good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, as far as myself, I think sometimes it's kind of weird to say this, but sometimes mistakes are good because I think that's kind of learning opportunities. Because sometimes those incidents happen and they create policy and stuff. So I think like the instructional minutes, also it's good because now there's a conversation that happens with sites. So I think I do appreciate that we do audits and it's done by a third party, and even if it finds mistakes, I think that's great because it kind of just keeps us kind of learning and growing and figuring out what are best practices and stuff. So I don't have any questions, but it was just a general comment that I saw a lot of that stuff was already kind of corrected and stuff, which is good that we're ahead of the game. And I'm thankful that there's audits and sometimes it's good that there is mistakes in there to kind of keep building and improving on ourselves.
Yeah, I would just like to say, great job on the audit. I did find that ASB finding a little strange. The fact that you were able to isolate $5.50 is, a great testament towards the detail of your audit. I also found the corrections that the district is taking to be great. I mean, we're taking great corrective action. And my biggest thing is after we find out mistakes is to set those systems in place to avoid those in the future. So I think the district staff did a great job addressing those issues. I appreciate the honest conversations and the heads up in previous meetings that we're addressing these issues. And, that just helps to build the trust between, the board, the staff, and the community, and know that we're okay with having these discussions as long as we're learning and we're growing, which is our motto. Thank you.
Sarah, did you have any questions or comments for him?
No, thank you.
Okay, so seeing as that there's no questions, do we need to approve the audit?
Yes.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve 5.1 for the audit?
Motion to approve.
Okay, Sarah, first, I'm sorry, motions. Can I get a second? Is that Mr. Ms. Fertel seconds? Okay. And Melissa, can you do roll call, please?
Yes. Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Yes, very good job.
Miss Sarah Turner,
Yes.
and Elva Ariano is not present. The vote passes 4-0.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of the night.
Okay. You as well, Alexander. Till next year.
Yep. Thank you.
Bye. Okay. So moving on to 5.2.
Yeah, so that's also my item. I'm excited to present the next item. It's a public disclosure, AB 1200. This was the agreement between the school district and the Santa Rita Teachers Association for 2 fiscal years, the current year, 2020, 2021, and 2021, 2022. Something that I didn't have here because of the timing is the letter from the county office approving the public disclosure and the information that I sent to them. Usually with this, we send it out to the county, they review my numbers, and they either approve it or not approve it. So we did got those letters today, and I'll make sure to include those on the next board meeting for your review. I just wanted to let you know that I did got them, but didn't include them because of the timing. So this is going for approval for the first year. As you can see on the paragraph, we had, well, I'm not gonna go over it because you can read that. But it's on approval, and there is about probably 10 pages following up. That's pretty much the AB 1200 or the public disclosure. And as you can see, we were able to accommodate this cost by reducing some of the budget expenditures. And this was due to the cleanup of the budget. As you remember, in previous months, I talked about doing new procedures and new forms for the stipends. We started that on the beginning of the year, and when putting together the budget and having the new accounts for the stipend, we were able to project better budgeting. So we were able to save some money on that. So because of that, we were able to accommodate the cost. And as you can see, for the current year, it's $419,000, $579. And for the next fiscal year, it's a 2% salary increase with $450,326, and it's up for approval. Let me know if you have any questions in regards to this.
Does the board have any questions or comments?
Just have a comment. First of all, I want to thank Rosa and our entire negotiating team for working out this great contract. I would like to tell the teachers that this board made a decision many years ago that we were going to sow support and our love and appreciation to our teachers by our efforts in making sure that our teachers are one of the highest paid teachers in Salinas, or at least the top from the bottom. And I remember when I started, we were at the bottom, and now we are at the top. That is our commitment. We've been able to do that because we've been able to hold down costs and efficiencies at our district. And I just want to say thank you to everyone involved, in creating this this working team, if you will, of making sure our staff is well paid. At the same time, we're taking care of our community and our students, So once again, I want to thank everyone, and making this happen.
Yeah, just one quick comment as well. I'd like to thank Mrs. Stover and Ms. Varela, and for their not only hard work as teachers, but as representative for the teachers union, and and Ms. Alderman for being so receptive, and the fact that the district has such a great relationship with its teacher union and staff, and like Mr. Patel said, we want to ensure that our teachers, and staff is paid the highest possible rate. We appreciate you, and I'm glad of the agreement that we've come up with. Thank you.
Sarah, did you have a comment or question?
No, I'm grateful for everybody's hard work on this. And, as Neil said, he and I and the board members at the time, including Ms. Ariano, made a commitment, because we believed if we could pay people comparably that they would stay, because we would provide a better working environment and they would have a better opportunity to help kids. And we didn't want people to have to leave because of finances. So I'm just grateful for the staff that we have on the administrative side and the teaching side.
Okay, great. Can I get a motion to approve 5.2?
Motion to approve.
Okay. Motion by Ms. Turner. Can I get a second?
A very happy and willing second.
Second, Mr. Martel. Okay, for a roll call.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Yes.
Sarah Turner,
Yes.
Ms. Ariano is not present. Motion passes 4-0.
Great job, everybody. Nicole, is that person still trying to get in for a public comment?
No, their computer didn't connect.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's unfortunate. Well, if you're still out there in the public, you're welcome to email us or try again next time around.
Can they try to connect using a phone?
I put the information to join with a computer or with a phone, and that was on the website. So
thank you, Nicole, for reaching out.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and thank you, Nicole, for putting that together so the public can also come in as well. So moving on to 5.3.
So this is my item again. I promise it's the last one. So this one came in a little bit late. This is for something that it was a requirement for the minimum wage, the $14 per hour that took effect as of January 1st, 2021. And the board approved this in December 9. And again, we are required to put together the AB 1200 public disclosure, send it to the county. And again, the county review it and they send us the letter today as well. So I have that for you to review on the next meeting. So we have all that ready. It was just a requirement. The total cost was $10,957, and this didn't cause a deficit spending in our budget. We're still balanced. So it's up for approval. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Any questions by the board or comments? No? Okay, can I get a motion to approve 5.3?
Motion to approve.
Okay, Mr. Motion, can I get a second? Okay, I'll second. Okay. A minute roll call vote.
Okay. Sarah Turner,
Aye.
Neil Patel,
Aye, Captain.
Andrew Sandoval,
Aye.
Jacob Sandoval,
Aye.
Ms. Ariano isn't present. Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Now, nothing for student services, so move on to 7.1.
Thank you. This is related to the item that Rosa just presented with our negotiations with the teachers, and Melissa and the district team share your enthusiasm with this contract and agreement. We think that we really came to a fair agreement for both sides, and we're thrilled that we were able to conclude it with them. In addition to the compensation increases, we did also negotiate some language that has been attached for your review, just to update a lot of things. And so this will be a 2-year contract. but we will be opening for 22-23 in the spring of next year. In the spring of this year, each team will be able to bring one item to open for next year. Our team has already shared with SRTA that we wish to continue working on evaluations. We updated our classroom observation form, but we still have some other tools and forms that we would like to work on, and we will see what they bring for us in the spring. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Becky. Questions or comments on 7.1? Can I get a motion to, do you want to say something, Sarah?
I was going to make a motion to approve.
Okay, good, perfect.
And I was going to hand wrestle her for that. I'll do the second.
Okay, Ms. Rattell. Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval,
Aye.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Aye.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Aye, Captain.
Ms. Sarah Turner,
Aye.
Ms. Ariano is not present. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you, everybody. So moving on to the last item on the agenda, 8.1, which is
8.1 is an information item I'm presenting to the board. The board requested information regarding being able to provide translation services for our board meeting audience members. I just wanted to notify the board that we did lots of research on different ways to accomplish this, whether through a written text translation that people would see. One of the impediments to that would be if someone's literacy skills is not adequate for captions, and the difficulty with providing accurate captioning if we're using an automated system versus a human being who's able to do that. So actually, after a lot of research, we reached out to a local company, California Certified Interpreters Incorporated here, based in Salinas. And we would like to pilot this in our meetings in March. I confirmed with Blanca this morning at California Certified Interpreters that we will be able to have a Spanish interpreter available for our March 10th meeting. We will expect some bugs that we have to work out with making this work for us. And it's at a cost of $110 per hour with a 2-hour minimum. That seems to be pretty standard for this. And then if we go over 2 hours, they charge us by the 15-minute portion of the 110. It's fairly reasonable. And if I did a cost estimate, if this works for us and we like how this feature works as a board and a leadership team, we certainly can explore just going ahead and doing a contract with this service provider or a like service provider and budget that in the upcoming school year at a cost that would be much more effective for us as a district this size than, say, hiring a certified district translator at this stage.
questions or comments on the item?
I just want to, once again, Melissa, I commend you for this further outreach and making sure that our various population are able to communicate and understand and participate in our election, in our governing process, especially with a board meeting. I think $110 or $220 per meeting, 2 meetings a month. You know, I think that's well worth it if it works. If it doesn't work, I'm sure you will try other programs, other methodologies. Let's not give up on this, is what I'm trying to say. You know, let's try this out. If that doesn't work, let's try something. But let's get this resolved to make sure all in our community are able to contribute and participate. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes, well, thank you, Ms. Alderman. I appreciate you doing the legwork and the district staff that did this. This is something another thing that gets me excited is increasing access to our community. As we go forward, you work out the kinks. Also be great if we were able to record the translation just so people can have access to it. And when we move back to in-person board meetings or maybe as we have those student presentations, maybe via Zoom, I'm excited for the parents that they'll be able to more fully participate and see their students and understand what's going on with our district board and our business. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Having said that, Mr. Sandoval, I'm just letting you know I'm never coming back. I'm going to do remote meetings. I'm just letting you know right now.
Well, it's all what the state will allow. Okay, well, thank you, Melissa. I'm also very excited about that as well. So thank you for presenting it as an informational item and excited what it brings. So that's our last item on the agenda. I do want to remind the board, I did confirm with CSBA that March 1st, which is next week, 5 to 7:30. Amy will be emailing out your material. And I think we need to put up an agenda, I think, right, Melissa, for that one as well, because it has to be open to the public. So I look forward to seeing everybody on Monday and having a good beginning.
So, Mr. Sandoval, when are we going to have our annual retreat in Hawaii again? I know we never had it, but are we going to go to Rio or Hawaii? Or, I mean, I'm stuck in this house for too long, bro. I need to get out of here. Do you think the school will pay?
I think the best thing we can do is have a background that has Hawaii on it. How about that?
Just to be clear, Mr. Patel, you don't want to attend in-person meetings, but you want to travel to Hawaii.
Well, they
great.
can take care of me there, and I can have, they have good food, and they have island and wind blowing, so COVID's not there.
Just as a reminder for just for the future agenda items, I know we're partnering with Miss Carissa Purnell, but I know she had spoke with her a while back, and she'd love to do a presentation for the board, just as possibility, so we can get our mind ready for this adventure. So just so you can keep that in mind. Whatever works out with her availability would be great. Thank you.
Okay. Can I get thank you everybody and staff. Can I get a motion to adjourn at 7:08?
I need something first.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay. Melissa and staff, who's ever picking this up, I know that Mr. Ryan is talking about, transitioning out, but he was really spearheading the committee that we were working together to honor Mr. Gutierrez, and I don't want that to fall by the wayside. We did meet as a committee, and I'm happy to work with anybody to pass on that information as needed. One of the goals of our committee was that we wanted to potentially have some kind of a celebration in May because that's his birthday month. So I know the clock is ticking, and so that was just a real goal that I had. And if anything needs to be agendized beforehand, or I didn't know in terms of, I said, I'm happy to meet with anybody to pass on the information from the committee and what we talked about.
Can we get a status report on the agenda next meeting?
I'll get in touch with Sarah and the committee members and get you information of where we left off with that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, for bringing that up as well.
Thank you, Sarah.
Any other things from the board? No. Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn at 7:09?
I make a motion.
I second.
Okay, and then roll call.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval,
Aye.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Aye.
Mr. Neil Patel.
Nay.
Okay, well, we'll keep moving.
Sarah Turner.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano is not present. Motion passes.
Aye, Mr. Patel.
3-1. Okay, everybody stay safe, and thank you, staff, for staying so late with us.
They all leave me. They all don't want me to talk. They all want me to get me out, really bad. They won't, I see how it is. All right.
Okay, good night. Bye.